I think this is the largest audience I've ever have spoken to, so I'm going to be a little bit nervous, I think. But anyway, before I really think about myself and how I feel, can I have a shout out for all our speakers today? Thanks to Richard, we have the most amazing group, from fashion to farming in the afternoon, right? And somewhere in between, we talk about building a city or sustainability, whatever. So, well, following Chris, I have to say, I want to put in the third category, which maybe that's where I am, which is called essentialism, which means that if it's maximal, it's what you want, that's fine. If it's minimal, what you want is fine too. But what is it that you want, right? So this is always a perpetual existential metaphysical question. When I was asked to speak about the topic on balance, and I thought, Jesus, isn't that just something really unstable, that it's kind of tipping the balance, things that are, you got to nurse it, you got to shore it up, you got to juggle it all the time. It never stops. And if it's static, then there's nowhere to go. So as you can see from just this morning, we've seen many, many ways where these amazing fellow speakers have found their balance. I, too, are going to celebrate my background, my life, because I think that's where we mine all our experiences. So, again, thanks, Mom, for everything, Dad, too, for their support or not. And let's see if happiness is the solution. I hope it is one of the many solutions. So, the balance seemed to suggest a set of binaries, of polarities, on the one hand, on the other hand, and it's like this, and it's teeter-tottering, and you've got to maybe move your center to juggle it so to make things not to fall. And what are those things? Well, in culture, we know most cultures do have set up these diametric situations, good and evil, happy, sad, things like that, or to be or not to be. That is the question. So I was thinking, it must be, for all our different life experiences, that center must be very different at any time, at any place in your life. And so I, too, will share with you my life, which is kind of a set of balances up to now, and probably will be so for the rest of it. First of all, I think something a lot of us here share. I'm Chinese. I'm raised in the States. I probably can't make this lecture in Chinese because my balance is kind of tipped towards the West. And so, you have to excuse me, but this is something I've always, of course, wanted to balance, my Eastern-Western heritages. But I think more essential to that for me is, again, our parents, those role models that start at the very beginning. They touch you, you touch them, and there's a trust, and then it starts to grow and change and shift. And so anyway, my mother was a Buddhist, and she was probably the first early model flower child, and she was idealistic, she's impulsive, she's compassionate, she's passionate. She's also a die-hard vegetarian, and she hates killing so much that when we were little, she used to use a butterfly net to catch mosquitoes and flies and send them outdoors. So you can imagine what happens when there's a cockroach in the house, right? Commotion. When I was little, she noticed that I was doodling a lot, so immediately she taught me how to draw. Then when she thought she couldn't help me anymore, she gave me classes with masters, Chinese paintings, oils, watercolors, you name it. And I really flourished from that. And then I was bopping around to the radio And she goes, oh, you have a rhythm, and send me to ballet school. Now, what parents would send a boy to ballet school? Ruined for life. Anyway, my father, on the other hand, is a serious man, as most Chinese men of that generation. Anyone here? I don't know. He was very serious. He was stoic. He was strict. He was also an atheist. And I could only remember huge arguments at home. Is there a God? My father said, absolutely not. Look at all the different gods in the world that's creating all this commotion. And my mom said, you've got it wrong. There's only one God. But God came down to different countries in different guises, Jesus Christ, Siddhartha, and they spread their word. Now, dogma is something we put in religion. Anyway, this goes on and on like that. And the four of us, we just sat there and could not put a word edgewise. So that's how we grew up. Okay, back to my father. I'm rambling again. So when I was 13, I noticed my birthday, there was no present for my dad. I go, Dad, where's my present? And he said, you should give me a present. I nursed you, I provided for you, I house you, I give you an education. Now it's payback time. You're 13, which means you're about to enter adolescence, which means very soon you'll be an adult. So, what's your career plan? I think you need to set goalposts, mission statements, create a set of plans. 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 25 years. Okay, and I'll coach you through. So, now, left brain, right brain, I don't think I'm very balanced here either, okay? So of course, I tended towards my mom, but I feel like there's definitely something of them, both of them in me, whether it's a brainwave situation or whether it's nurture or nature. Can we balance nature and nurture? I wouldn't know. So anyway, I got out of that fast. In college, I was like, free at last. I'm going to go to school. And I was overwhelmed by school. But I was able to do what I thought I wanted to do. So this was in the 70s, okay? So I went to UC Berkeley. It was like free for all. You could do whatever you want. A friend of mine majored in magic. I said, I don't know anything about magic, but I want to really use all the different classes. Anthropology, philosophy, linguistics, art, music, dance, theater, and so on. Glass blowing. I love glass blowing. But I was also like a kid in a candy store, and I was having a meltdown, so my counselor said, you don't need a shrink. You just actually do have to take more acting lessons to build up your confidence, to see how other people live throughout history. And I loved it so much that actually upon graduation, I decided to be an actor. And I actually went into graduate school as an actor. But soon I realized there's no life for a minority, ethnic minority, in Hollywood or Broadway or any place like that. Maybe I'll get a job doing voiceovers, or maybe in a long-running play like No Exit or Waiting for Godot, somewhere in the Lower East Side. And I made a quick exit out of this. All of a sudden, my father's little bit kicked in, and I go, I'm out of here. And I thought, okay, what am I going to do? And I realized, oh, yeah, right, I did some drafting, and I did set design. So I actually talked my way into a graduate school in architecture. And, I thought, wow, of course I can do architecture. I did that before. I built a house already for my dog when I was 7. So my dad said, oh, you cannot bring this dog that your mom gave you for your birthday in the house. And so I thought, okay, let's build a doghouse, and as a seventh, I didn't know understanding about porosity or materiality, so I made it out of cardboard. It lasted 1 day in the rain. So put on thinking cap again. Our neighbor was renovating, and they were throwing out windows, so I built my first glass house out of window panes. So I thought, I can do this. So that's how I ended up being an architect. I thought, well, from the stage to the world stage, and on this stage. So all of a sudden, I find myself in this place doing things that I kind of liked, but didn't really love, because somehow something's missing. I like to make things, but why am I making things? Just, as Cesar said, we are craftspeople, but it has to have the purpose. I need to find that purpose. And then, these graduate schools are very highfalutin. It's polemics of the day at Harvard Graduate School of Design was, theory, conceptualism. The question was modernism or historicism at the time, as if that's another thing to balance. And practical practice or practical concerns never seemed to enter any of our professors' mind. And so 3.5 years later, I graduated. I got my apprenticeship in a very well-known architecture firm, whereupon I spent a year counting tiles. So no tiles were cut for these toilets in a very big exhibition center. I actually learned a lot from that. First of all, meditation. Another, improving my math. So where am I going with this? Well, sooner or later, of course, I had to strike out on my own, and I have to find a partner because my left brain wasn't working as well as my right, so I think I needed. And so, again, I have to juggle a partnership. We have to take whatever came along, which means that, like all architects, the beginning was either competition or bathrooms and kitchen renovations. And you say, well, I went to school for this. I still have to pay back my school loan, and I can't make it work. But another thing inside me say, yeah, you know what? These people come to you, and they're their home. They're their dreams. That's their dream. And yes, dreams instead, because sometimes they are pipe dreams. And, can I do this for $1.95? And, and we're going to have to make it work. And how do I make it work without feeling like this is totally a waste of my time? And I started thinking, well, can I put myself into their shoes? What was their aspiration? And what is their subtext behind what they're saying? What do they really want? And so that went on for a while, and I guess we did that okay, because soon larger commissions came, and then a group of customers, clients that said, hey, I like your brand. I didn't even know we had a brand, but okay, thank you very much. And I want to use your brand to sell our product. Can you make something really sexy so we can really kind of make people buy these really kind of poorly planned, cheap apartments that you're gonna make it look nice? And I'm like, wait a minute, this is not right. We're not beauticians, or nothing against beauticians, by the way. But anyway, we need to do this in a much more profound way. We are architects, so it really made me start thinking about, okay, is our craft enough? Is our technique enough? Is our love for making beautiful things enough? And then this is recalls what Alfie was saying. Things are not what it seems, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but beauty is what you are. And so when you use that as a weapon, it's not right. And so, after all that, we just realized that we've got to do something more. We can't just be stuck in our own vocation or our profession. We have to look at how these things impact our society. And through this, I've sort of learned also how to really understand the we in the I so that I can be a better I to the we. And that there are actually no answers. We're all doing our own thing, trying to keep our equilibrium, to find our way. And is there synergies that we can find amongst maximalists, minimalists, essentialists, all our aspirations? And there's some universal common ground that we can find. So I can't really offer any solutions. I can't say happiness is the key. I can't say initiatives can put people together. I think all of those insights, you will hear many in from the speakers today, will offer insight of how maybe they are a sample for us to navigate. Now, as you can notice, I am doing it free fall. I did not bring any visuals. For an architect, that's pretty hard to do. But I've decided at the end of the day, you just get this. Okay? Rambling and all. And I hope that you, in me going on about my crazy life, that you see some commonality. And that commonality will make perhaps come to you, in other words. And the thing is that I want the most, I think, if we are talking about some kind of balance or equilibrium, is to find that common ground somewhere, and that we dedicate this without solutions, without anything. I would say, actually, forget about solutions right now, because there will be many, many different directions and paths. Forget about visionary, forget about this is a solution. Let's keep our eyes open, our ears peeled, and see where we can go, whether there are any possible directions. Be alert and resolve to be light on our feet, find our balance. More than that, maybe this. And can I invite everyone to say it's an open road. And today, now that we've got you all in one room, I don't know, thousands of people, that we can say, make a promise and resolve that no solutions, but let's make a resolution to say, let's try to each promise each other to make our best effort to share, to synergize, to find our own way, our own balance, and then collectively trying to put seeds. Someone used that metaphor. Seed the earth with our presence, with our dedication, and hopefully give it to God, any God. And that one day, even long after we're dead, that those seeds would take hold, blossom, and bloom. Thank you very much.